Hey guys, it's Dr. Saeed again, here bringing you another video. Per the request of a lot of my viewers, they wanted a little bit more shorter videos that are digestible to sort of go on the go. And I think I agree with you guys that having short 5-6 minute clips that are more information packed, that you can sort of just listen on the fly here and there are going to be a lot easier for you. And I'll start to make some playlists as well to sort of help you guys be able to get through more content a little bit easier instead of having to fast forward and rewind a certain subject. So I'll try to divvy up each subject in a quick 5-6 minute little clips, each with different topics, and go from there. So today's topic, I want to talk a little bit about white noise and pink and brown noise. So why are they effective and how does it help with sleep? So as somebody who's always kind of had sleep problems myself, and all my friends can attest to that, especially if you live in a city where you have loud neighbors and honking of horns and things like that, I've tried every possible thing that I could to mitigate and sort of decrease those sounds, and I still sort of had issues. So what is white noise, pink noise, brown noise, and how do they affect your sleep? So people oftentimes get a little bit confused with white noise. They say, well, if it's noise, then wouldn't that prohibit you from being able to fall asleep? What usually happens is the frequency of the sounds is really what messes up with people's sleep. So for example, it's the change in sound, not necessarily the loudness of the sound. So let's say you hear your neighbor stomping at a level 4. It goes quiet, loud, quiet, loud, quiet, loud. That change in level of sound is actually what disrupts our sleep. That is actually more detrimental and worse for our sleep than if you heard, for example, a level 5 or 6, but a constant sound. For example, the laundry or the dishwasher that's going at the same rate, even if it's a little bit louder, that's actually better for you. And that's a little bit about how the premise of white noise works. It sort of drowns out any other sounds that come at random frequencies to sort of level it out. Especially in the hospital setting, they made a lot of studies and research where, as you may imagine, in the hospital, the sleeping environment isn't exactly ideal. It's not always dark. The machines you have connected to you are beeping. People are running around, family visiting, things like that. So they installed white noise machines, and they found about roughly 38 to 40% of patients fell asleep, a quicker onset of sleep. So the time it took for them to hit the hay, so to speak, to actually falling asleep was a lot shorter than those who had white noise machines in their rooms. Now, I hear a lot of times, what is the difference between white noise and pink noise and brown noise? I actually, maybe like you, just thought white noise was sort of a blanket statement. And to be fair, it sort of is, but there is pink and brown noise, which does differ a little bit. They differ in the frequencies and the amount of sound that comes from those emanating machines. So they all work in the same way, is to cover up any changes in frequency that happen quickly, like stomping neighbors, but the way it covers it up will differ, whether that's raindrops at different surfaces, which that would be more of a white noise, or you could have something like a pink noise, which is more of like a wind, a strong wind, things like that. So they all sort of just differ in the frequency and the multitude of the sounds, but they're all working in the same way to sort of cover up any changes in irregular immediate sound frequencies. And that's really how those machines work. Another thing that I think is very helpful for you guys to remember is, as I mentioned before, screen time. So just to recap, anytime the light comes out, that light goes and hits through our brain, through our eyes, goes to our brain in a part called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It's part of the hypothalamus. It's a part of the brain that's thought to sort of promote wakefulness and regulate the circadian rhythm. What ends up happening is once that light hits that, we get a feedback saying, hey, it's time to wake up. Don't make any melatonin, don't make anything for sleep. It's time to go. As the day comes on, it gets darker. We don't get that feedback, so your brain's like, okay, it's pretty dark out. As time goes on, it should be time to get a little bit darker. That's an oversimplified way of saying it, but that's generally how it works. The problem is the screen light that we get from TVs and tablets, there's a certain wavelength that's called blue light. That blue light mimics very similar to what we get from outside. And when that light comes through our retina to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, it says, hey, it's not time to go to sleep anymore, even if it's 2, 3 in the morning. So it tells us not to really to go to sleep even when we should be. So things like blue light glasses for people, especially today's day and age, especially with COVID, they're on their screens all day and they're just getting that constant feedback to stay awake, stay awake, stay awake. And so when it comes to come to sleep, they don't really have that. So blue light glasses actually have been shown to be quite effective. I have a lot of colleagues as well that use that because they're sitting hunched over on their screens, typing notes all day or whatever it is. So that's another thing that is relatively easy. They're pretty cheap on Amazon to really sort of help with sleeping issues. But because of those reasons, that's why a big reason I actually started this channel is I want a good resource for you for white noise, brown noise, just rain sounds, thunder sounds, different types of sounds to help people fall asleep. I want to make it on a loop. So not only is it soothing to sort of look at, but also to listen to. And that's really where this channel comes in. I want to provide a good resource, and I want to make some playlists of good sounds for you guys, whether that's fireplace crackling, thunder, windstorms, things like that help people fall asleep. I know that, and for me, it's personally helped. And I didn't really find a lot of good playlists that were free and reasonable. So that's a big thing I'm going to do for you guys, is I'm going to make some playlists that help with those noises. And you guys can put them on loops, and hopefully that's something that will help you with sleeping. And now that you understand how they work and why they work, I think that will also be beneficial for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you can see more content like this. Like I said, I'm going to continue making videos on short digestible topics that are really quick, and you can go from video to video to video. That way you're not really having to fast forward, and they're each compartmentalized in different little topics. So depending on what you're interested or not interested, you don't feel like you have to zoom or fast forward things just to get to a part of the topic that you might like. Again, if you guys had any more comments or topics that you want me to discuss more thoroughly, I'd be happy to get into that.